For this weekend's project, we're working on the 76 E250, aka the Magic Carpet Ride. About a year ago, I took rear gas tank out because it was leaking. It had leaked before when I first bought the van, and I thought I had a rust hole in it. I put some seal all on the hole, and it held for over a decade. This is the original gas tank out of the van. I was going to try to swap this gas tank from an 85 E250. You can see the difference. One, it's got the vent. But the biggest difference is here. These hoses are in different positions, switched around. So I couldn't use this gas tank. So I went ahead and repaired this one. The whole time I thought it had a rust hole. And it ended up that somebody had poked a hole in my gas tank, probably to steal gas. I ended up soldering that hole shut. I had already bought a fuel sending unit for that gas tank, so I'm going to switch it over to here and put this tank back in. And then I can finally put my hitch back on the van. That'll be handy. Alright, so I'm getting ready to put the new sending unit in. I just ran a shot back through the gas tank. Got this old sock or screen, whatever you want to call it, out, and a bunch of dirt. I say it's a good idea to compare your two sending units, make sure everything looks the same. Make sure you get the seal in. I'm going to go ahead and use the brass float from my old sending unit because I don't really care for this plastic crap. I already tested it in a bucket of water. When you take out your old sending unit, hold on to this lock ring. Sometimes the new lock rings don't put enough pressure on the seal to seal it. Just a heads up. Alright, I'll get this back together and start putting it in. Alright, I got the fill tube reinstalled. That was a whole lot of fun. Not really, unless you're into getting dirt in your eye and cussing a lot. But I took this out before to see if I can make it work with that other gas tank, and that was a no-go. But it's reinstalled, and now we can put the tank in. Got the new hoses switched over to the tank. Time to put it in the van. Okay, so I'm getting ready to set the gas tank up in there. I scraped out the contacts on the plug here, and I put a bunch of grease on the contacts on the sending unit just to help keep water and dirt and crap out of it. Maybe work a lot longer, hopefully. Alright, I got the gas tank installed. Just a little side note, when you're tightening your gas tank straps, work back and forth. That way you walk the tank up to where it needs to be, and it ain't all in there crooked and working itself loose. I think I'll wait till I put gas in the tank and make sure the fuel gauge works before I put the hitch back in. Since I decided to make myself a little home under here, under the van today, I thought I might as well go ahead and adjust my rear brakes. And on drum brakes, you have this adjuster. And when you hit reverse, it's supposed to turn this wheel, little star wheel. When this turns out, it spreads the brakes out, and then your wheel cylinder doesn't have to spread as much, so it gives you more pressure on the brakes. A lot of people probably know how to do this already, but if I could show one person, my grandpa showed me this when I was a kid, and if I could pass it on to one more person, I'd be happy about that. Before I adjust the brakes, you have to block the front tires, put the vehicle in neutral, and jack it up just a little tiny bit, enough that you can spin the tire. For those of you who have rear disc brakes, from what I've seen on the ones I've worked on, they have something similar to this for the emergency or parking brake. If your parking brake doesn't really hold, you could try that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take this tool. You can use just a flat screwdriver. You want to take this cap out of here, and this little wheel is inside there. And you want to turn the wheel. Do a few clicks, move the tire. Once you hear the brakes drag, that's good. Don't go too far. That's good right there. Then put the cap back in. Otherwise you get a bunch of mud and crap in there. Makes everything bad. And it'll suck for the next person that has to get in there. And that's all there is to it. Well, it's nice to see a gas cap in that hole. It's not the right one. I have the original one around somewhere. I'll have to go look for it. But don't you worry, I'll find it. Found some gas caps I can try. Nope, that's not it. It looked cool though. Wrong. Let's try this one. Oh, not even close. Wait. Oh, that's ugly. That's not good. At least that one's blue. Well, this one looks like it's off an old truck anyways. That ain't right. That one's not even close. This one's too new. This one would look pretty cool, but it's missing part of it. Let's try this one. Oh, yep, it fits. That's the one. Told you I'd find it. I hope this video helps someone out. Thanks for watching this nonsense. Have a good day. Probably should fix the front gas tank too. For anyone that's curious, that seal all's been on there for over 10 years. So it works pretty good.